And I was thinking how, because back then also there could have been like not as much of a nuanced point of view about our internal world, or a different itself. That's why also Neptune, Uranus, and Pluto were seen as somewhat lesser influences and planets, because it's more on a thinner or a lighter plane of existence in relation to ourselves. When we look at Pluto, Neptune, and Uranus, it all has to do with the beyond, or it all has to do with the imagination, uniqueness. Uniqueness is not something that you can see as an example.
True.
For instance,
The imagination as well.
It's all spiritual, and death itself is
transformation from Pluto. You can't really see it
spiritual.
until it's accumulated, or you go through it and then you have the results out of it externally. Your life changes. Somebody around you has a life turn around positively or negatively.
Your spiritual creations, because like when you go through death, you are going through all the places that you've been in and created things at, and you have to let go and transform yourself through that.
Yeah,
Well,
what you just said is in metaphors of like in movies and pop culture, when people die or they are about to die or they have a close to death experience, they say, I just seen my life flash in front of my eyes. It's exactly what you said. And then the part of letting go is this Egyptian concept of death. When you die, your heart must be weighted against a feather.
Yeah.
Because as a spirit, you come to this realm for your own purpose and whatever, but through it, you should really learn what to value and what to carry with you or not. Because when you die, how you die will be the world that you go into next or the world that you create into next. So what is in your heart will be the next world that you are attracted into, or did you come together with other spirits to create? So the Egyptian metaphor for weighing your heart against the feather is, if you are too heavy, you ain't going nowhere. You're coming back here or to a world that it's not considered a spiritual evolution. You're going backwards instead of evolving. That's why you go to the land of the death where there is no sun, because there is no excitement for your spirit. Exactly. So it's colder, because you are not so fond spiritually of that experience, so you end up in detaching. Sure.
I just wanted to finish up this thought about Pluto and the Egyptian also concept and vision about the afterlife, or as you die, you go through this process of weighing your heart and weighing how light is your heart in relation to all of your creations, all your experiences. And so relating back to flashing, flashing, your life flashed before your eyes as you were dying, as the concept of experiencing or observing everything that you've been through. And I would even suggest that a lot of perhaps lives that you haven't lived in this body would also flash through your eyes, but it's like a dream. If you cannot interpret it, or if you can't associate your dreams to concepts that you have right now in your mind about beliefs, about certain things.
Basically, the things that you see when life flashes upon your eyes, like a dream, you might not be able to relate to them with information that you had in this current life. So you appropriate experiences and images that you have lived through to match those spiritual things that you are carrying.
Yes.
Because you might be carrying things from past life, great point, and you're still carrying them. That's the point of
a south node, for example.
Yeah.
Something that an experience and a talent, a gift that you come in with, or the intention that you want to, why did you came here? And that can be a feeling. But my point here was that everything that flashes before your eyes is somewhat of a review, an automatic review, and how you feel about something that you are observing will determine how your next life will be. So if you die, or if you go into that train of everything you have experienced, and there is a point that you feel strongly about it, strong red,
Yeah.
right, or you feel such a heavy weight, then that's what determines if you are reincarnating, if you are going back into a situation where you have to get yourself out of it as you are living, while you are alive, or you go next into and you go through that train of experiences and you don't feel any weight. If you go through that experience lighthearted, you die in a state of peace, you die in a state of fulfillment and satisfaction, clearness, clarity, then your heart is lighter than the feather. So by default,
Totally.
you go into an experience that is new, unique, Uranus related, Neptune related, Pluto related, because you went through the purgatory of Pluto, or you went through the distillation process and you were able to transform all that experience into gold.
Two points here real quickly about the purgatory and how it's seen as a bad thing. It's seen as a bad thing because it's a part of the human nature, and we're getting as a society even more detached from that nature as we go. But back in the day, people were still more animalistic. They were more connected to internal desires and quote-unquote archetypes. So detaching from those things was seen as bad, as suffering, detaching from the earthly pleasures that they call it back in the day. Because purgatory is not bad, it's just you detaching. And that's completely normal. We detach every day when you go to the bathroom as well, right? But on a deeper level, the purgatory is when you detach from things that you were caring about, right? And it can be seen as a bad thing for two reasons. You were too attached to it, or when people talk about it, most likely they experienced it as a spirit, and then they came back to tell the story, and they had a tough time detaching from things. That's why they came back. So it was painful to be detached, to be separated for something that was so close to them. It was like ripping their skin off. But that's just a perspective that didn't really happen. It was just the spirit struggling to leave a certain space or a certain desire. While we are in this conversation about the next world or whatever, also there is this, I think, more Asian perspective, which is when you're about to die or you have a out-of-body experience, you've seen the river and you've seen people or things that you care about on the other side of the river. And that river is you as a spirit. Now that you detached from this common perspective, the commonwealth, you know what I'm saying? Actually, America has a lot of these spiritual words enveloped into their system, which is actually a good way to do it. But we're not going to governmental or political here right now. But that big river, or your perspective, or whoever perspective about that river, is you now being completely aware of everybody together. That flow is everybody's conscious, material or pre-material, non-spiritual, because spiritual is no thing, but then you start creating something and it's not material yet. That's what the scientists call dark matter, because you can see it's still an accumulation. There is no separation, no differentiation. Light or the rainbow comes in after the prism separates them, right? But the river is the accumulation, the flow of the pre-material, conscious and subconscious, that you can observe now as a spirit because you are zoomed out and you see things on the other side of the river because they already are outside, they already expanded upon, they're already separated from the river that we are all going through, the Milky Way, quote unquote. That's a bigger river that we can look upon.
Yeah, all the things that we have created, that's the river. All the material, even thoughts and feelings, it's all that river of creation. And it's not the spirits, it's the creations.
Yeah. And the Milky Way is basically the river, the flow that we are in. Just like a fish can look at the top of the river and see like light or things shifting and shaping. When we look up at the sky and we can see the Milky Way, that's the river that we are in, the galaxy that we are in. You know what I'm saying?
When you look at